In the cold dark of deep space, where light from faraway suns fades into blackness, small alien scout ships drift like silent hunters, their sensors reaching across the void, searching for whispers of danger. Or change. One such scout detects something unusual near the Sol system, a faint movement of large shapes far from the planets. But still inside the pull of their star, the readings are strange, and the patterns unlike anything seen before. The captain of the scout frowns at the glowing symbols on his console and sends the data to his command. The message is short and urgent. A giant object is being built in Earth orbit. The report spreads quickly through secure channels until it reaches the high halls of the Galactic Alliance, where leaders of many worlds meet behind closed doors, their voices low and heavy with worry. The humans have only been in space for a short time, yet their growth in technology has been faster than expected. One member of the council leans forward, his eyes narrowing as he studies the images sent by the scout ship. The object is covered in shadows from its own scaffolding, its size dwarfing anything humans have ever made before. The question forms in the minds of all who watch the screen: is this a weapon or some kind of massive colony ship? The Alliance does not wait for answers. They send small spy drones with cloaked hulls to move close to the object and scan its secrets. Each drone slips past the asteroid belts and into the gravity well of Earth, silent as the darkness around them. But one by one they vanish, their signals cut without warning and never heard again. In the control rooms of the Alliance, the loss of these drones sends a ripple of unease through the ranks. This is not chance. This is not an accident. The humans have defenses, and they are already active. Rumors begin to spread in the hidden corners of spaceport bars, in merchant fleets, in pirate dens across asteroid colonies. Whispers that the humans are building something never seen before. Some say it is a warship so large it could crush entire fleets. Some say it is a station to control wormholes. Some speak of a weapon able to destroy planets with a single strike. There is no proof, but fear does not need proof. Fear only needs the unknown, and the humans are giving the galaxy plenty of that. Soon the alien leaders call a secret gathering in one of the most secure stations in neutral space. They arrive in cloaked shuttles, their guards posted at every corridor of the chamber is dim, lit only by the slow pulse of the central table, where a hologram of Earth turns in the air above it. They share every piece of information they have, and still the truth remains hidden. One voice among them, an old council member whose species has seen many wars, leans closer to the others and whispers a warning: if they succeed, the galaxy will never be the same. His words carry no threat, only cold certainty. While the galaxy argues and fears, Earth moves in silence far above the blue planet in a massive orbital dock that glitters with floodlights like a crown in the night. Humans work day and night, their bodies weary, but their eyes burning with determination. The structure they're building is so large it curves out of sight. When viewed from one end, workers in armored suits guide enormous plates of black alloy into place, each piece locking with a heavy magnetic pull. Inside the frame, engineers run endless checks on power lines and weapon systems, every small failure fixed at once. The sound of welding and machinery echoes through the metal corridors like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. Inside a command center overlooking the dock, a group of senior officers and project leaders stand before a huge window. The half-finished shape of the object fills the view beyond them. The chief engineer wipes sweat from his brow and nods to the others. Progress is ahead of schedule. The captain assigned to lead the vessel one day walks in silence for a moment as he studies the ship. He knows its true name, the name no one outside this room has heard. He feels the weight of it like a secret blade hidden under his coat, ready to be drawn at the moment of need. Down below on the surface of Earth, in bustling cities and quiet towns, life goes on without the full truth. Citizens see small glimpses on news feeds, images of the great dock lit against the night sky, but the government calls it an orbital defense platform. Nothing more, only a few guess what it really is, and even fewer believe it could change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. In deep space, the alien scouts who remain keep their distance. They know now that humans have eyes and weapons reaching far beyond their planet. The reports they send are careful, vague, and filled with warning signs. Yet the true shape of the object grows each day, like a shadow stretching into the future. Above Earth, the dock hums with power reactors feeding life into the frame. Workers crawl over the hull like ants on a giant beast slowly waking, and somewhere in the sealed records of the human fleet, the name of the ship is written in sharp, clear letters, a name that will soon be spoken with awe and fear across the stars. But for now, it remains hidden, waiting. Far beyond the orbit of Pluto, where sunlight is only a faint whisper in the dark, a fleet of alien ships gathers, their hulls black against the endless night. Each ship belongs to a different species, yet all are here for one reason: to learn more about the human creation. They speak through encrypted channels, their voices tense as they share fragments of what little they know. None have dared move closer to Earth since the drones vanished, yet their curiosity grows. Like a hunger they cannot ignore. The leader of the fleet, a tall, thin creature with eyes like molten silver, studies a holographic projection of the object in Earth orbit and asks the question that all have been avoiding: should they strike before it is finished? The suggestion sends waves of unease through the gathered captains. Some speak of caution, for the humans have shown the ability to destroy probes without warning. Others speak of fear, that once the object is complete, no force will be able to challenge it in a fair battle. The debate rages in private, but every passing day brings the same truth: the humans are almost ready. Meanwhile, on Earth's massive orbital dock, the shape of the vessel becomes clearer. Its dark armor plating now stretches along the flanks, giving it the look of a predator ready to spring. Huge engine pods are fitted at the rear, each one large enough to power a small city. Workers cheer quietly as the systems come online, their hum vibrating through the frame like the breath of something alive. Deep within the core, engineers oversee the activation of the main reactor, its blue glow spreading through conduits like veins, filling the ship with light. Inside the command deck, under construction, the captain assigned to the ship stands before the main viewport, staring at the stars. He knows that somewhere out there eyes are watching, waiting, perhaps planning. He feels no fear, only a sharp awareness that the future of humanity rests on the steel and fire they are building here. Beside him, the chief engineer reports that weapons installation has begun. Enormous gun turrets the size of buildings are lowered into place by cranes, each barrel forged from alloys designed to withstand heat and force far beyond normal limits. Missile bays are hidden behind armored doors, ready to unleash destruction at a moment's notice. Down on Earth, governments meet in secret rooms far from the public gaze. High-ranking officials argue over strategy. Some want the ship to remain hidden as long as possible. Others want a public reveal to send a message to every species watching from the dark. In the end, the decision is made to keep the truth locked away until the ship is fully armed and crewed. No one wants to invite an attack before they are ready. The name of the vessel remains classified, spoken only in coded transmissions between trusted leaders. Out in deep space, the alien fleet continues to monitor using long-range scans that cannot be traced. They detect surges of power from the dock, each one larger than the last. Their scientists attempt to model the energy output, but the numbers make no sense. The humans have built something far beyond their known technology. This revelation causes panic in some and admiration in others. One captain, a veteran of countless battles, speaks quietly to his crew about the danger of underestimating a young species. He has seen empires fall because they ignored small flames until they became raging fires. On the dock, a new phase of work begins. Specialized teams move inside the vessel, installing navigation systems, shield generators, and artificial gravity fields. Each section of the ship comes alive with the flicker of lights and the hum of machines. Corridors stretch for hundreds of meters, connecting crew quarters, armories, hangars, and command rooms. The scale is overwhelming even for those who walk these halls every day. In one quiet corner of the construction site, the captain meets with a small group of officers handpicked for the first mission. Each is an expert in their field, some from the Navy, some from intelligence, some from black projects so secret they do not officially exist. They review simulations of possible encounters, from peaceful first contact to full-scale war scenarios. The captain reminds them that the galaxy is not a place of kindness, is a place where strength keeps you alive and weakness invites chains. Above the dock, the vessel now casts a shadow large enough to blot out the stars for those working beneath it. Shuttles move in steady streams, bringing supplies, weapons, and crew. Training modules. The air is filled with the sound of engines, the clang of metal, and the distant thrum of the reactor. Every person on the project feels the weight of what they are building, even if they do not know the full truth. In the alien fleet, patience begins to break. A group of younger captains argue for action. They propose a covert strike using stealth ships to plant charges on the dock and destroy the vessel before it can launch, but the fleet leader refuses for now. He knows too little about the human defenses and fears the cost of failure. In the dark recesses of his mind, he wonders if it is already too late. On Earth, night falls over the cities. While in orbit, the work continues without pause. Floodlights turn the dock into a beacon visible from the ground as a bright point moving across the sky. In quiet homes, children point at it and ask their parents what it is. Some parents smile and say it is just a news station. Others say nothing, staring at it with silent pride and fear mixed together. The captain walks through the nearly complete bridge of the vessel, feeling the smooth surfaces of the consoles under his fingertips. The main chair sits at the center like a throne, facing a vast viewport that will one day show the endless expanse of space. He knows that when this ship leaves orbit, it will not return unchanged. Whatever it encounters out there will shape the destiny of Earth for generations. In the control center of the dock, alarms sound briefly as sensors detect a faint ripple at the edge of the system. The signature is weak and vanishes almost at once, but the technicians report it to command. The captain hears the news and orders a full sweep of the outer perimeter. He suspects what it might be, but says nothing aloud. He only looks toward the dark beyond the planets, knowing eyes are watching and perhaps hands are already moving pieces in this quiet game of survival. The ripple detected at the edge of the Sol system does not return, but it leaves a shadow of unease in the minds of those who saw the reading. The captain orders extra patrol. Drones launch from the dock. Their silver hulls gleam in the reflected sunlight as they accelerate outward, scanning every fragment of dust and rock for signs of movement. Deep within the command rooms of the dock, intelligence officers compare the new data to old encounters and confirm what many feared. The signal bears similarities to stealth ships used by certain alien factions known for sabotage. The captain says nothing to his crew, but his resolve hardens. Far beyond Neptune, a small alien vessel drifts in the darkness, its systems running silent, its crew hidden in shadows. They observe the drones passing in the distance and make careful notes in their encrypted logs. They are scouts sent ahead of a larger force tasked with finding weaknesses in the human project. They report that the vessel is almost complete and that the humans have deployed security measures far stronger than expected. One of the alien officers wonders aloud if they have already been detected. His commander silences him, reminding the crew that hesitation means failure. Back in Earth orbit, the construction of the great ship enters its final stage. Massive shield plates are locked into position over the engines, their black surfaces absorbing light and hiding the true contours of the design. Technicians test the energy shields one by one, their invisible barriers flaring briefly when struck by testing pulses. Each system passes the checks without error. The captain watches from the bridge, feeling the ship come alive around him. Every hum and vibration is a heartbeat. Every flicker of light is a breath. On the planet below, the hidden councils meet again. Secure lines buzz with reports from their own spies in alien territories, confirming that the Galactic Alliance is growing. Restless debates grow heated, some advising an early launch to show strength, others urging patience until every weapon is ready. In the end, the captain is given the final authority. He alone will decide when the ship leaves the dock. In the alien fleet, the leader listens to the scout reports and feels the weight of decision pressing on him. The humans have advanced too quickly, faster than any prediction. His advisors present two choices: attack now with everything they have, or fall back and prepare for the political storm that will follow. Either choice carries risk, for if they attack and fail, their own worlds will become targets. If they retreat, they admit fear and embolden the humans. Night passes over Earth, but there is no night. In orbit, the dock burns with light as work crews move in constant shift. Shuttles bring crates of ammunition, sealed containers holding fuel and racks of strange devices whose purpose is known only to a few in the command deck of the ship teams run simulations of battle against multiple alien fleets, testing tactics that range from precise strikes to devastating waves of fire. The captain walks among them, saying little but noting everything in his mind, assembling 1,000 possible futures. In a quiet hangar deep inside the ship's small fighter craft are being tested their sleek shapes designed for speed and agility, each one equipped with advanced targeting systems and weapons that can pierce even the thickest armor. Pilots train in simulators for hours, their reflexes sharpened by relentless drills. They know they may be called to fight the moment the ship leaves the safety of orbit. Beyond the edge of the system, the alien scouts prepare to send their most dangerous message, a coded burst that will summon the rest of their forces. They know it will reveal their position, but their mission is nearly complete before they can transmit. The burst of faint shimmer appears in the dark. Behind them, a human drone emerges from invisibility, its silent engines closing the distance. In seconds, the aliens scramble to power their weapons. But the drone unleashes a blinding pulse of energy there. Systems die, their lights fade, and in moments they are adrift in the void. The drone transmits a single word to the dock contained. The captain receives the message without expression. He orders the drone to tow the alien vessel to a secure location near the outer moons of Jupiter. No announcement is made to the crew, no celebration, only a quiet acknowledgement that the game has changed. The enemy is closer than anyone admitted. On the alien flagship, far away, the fleet leader waits for the scout report that never comes. Unease coils in his chest. He knows now that the humans are not only building something unprecedented, they are willing to defend it with precision and speed. He wonders how long before they come looking for the fleets watching them from the shadows. Work on the ship accelerates. Shield generators hum at full power. Weapon systems are calibrated to the smallest fraction of accuracy. The main reactor runs, steady feeding energy to every system without strain. The final components are fitted into the command bridge, sleek chairs, polished panels, and a central display that projects a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. With the Sol system at its heart, the captain stands before it and studies the surrounding sectors, each one marked with symbols for known civilizations, some friendly, many hostile. In a deep maintenance bay, a small group of engineers whispers about the name of the ship. Rumors have spread through the dock that the name carries a message meant for the entire galaxy, a name that will be remembered in fear or respect for centuries to come. No one dares say it aloud in public, but the whispers travel through the corridors like an invisible wind. On Earth, a signal is sent to every government involved in the project confirming that launch preparations are almost complete. Cargo manifests are finalized, crew rosters are locked, and final training schedules are issued. Families of the crew are quietly moved to safe zones under the guise of routine relocations. The public remains unaware of the true scale of what is about to happen. The alien fleet leader makes his decision. He will not strike, yet instead he orders his ships to move farther from the Sol system, staying beyond detection range. His plan is to watch the launch and learn the capabilities of the human vessel before committing to any course of action. It is a gamble, but he knows that in war, knowledge is sometimes more valuable than the first shot. As the dock orbits high above the Earth, the final inspection begins. Teams sweep through every deck, checking systems for faults, repairing any small issues they find. The captain walks the length of the ship, speaking briefly to crew members and engineers, his presence steady and calm like the steel walls around them. When he returns to the bridge, he gives the order to begin fueling the main engines. The countdown to launch has begun, though no clock shows it for now. It exists only in the minds of those who understand that soon the silence of the dock will be broken by the roar of a new power entering the galaxy. The fueling of the great ship begins in silence. Huge pipes connect the dock to the massive engines deep within the hull, pumping liquid fire into the heart of the vessel. Engineers monitor pressure gauges and flow meters, ready to shut everything down at the first sign of trouble. The captain watches from the bridge, feeling the vibrations as power builds within the ship. Outside, the black hull gleams under the harsh light of the dock, its curves and angles designed to deflect not only weapons, but also the eyes of those who try to study it from afar. On Earth, the hidden councils meet one last time, each member aware that after this day, nothing will be the same. Messages from distant human colonies report growing tension in nearby alien territory. Some fleets are moving closer to trade routes. Others have begun drills that look suspiciously like preparations for war. The councils send final authorizations to the captain, then fall silent, waiting for news of the launch. In the alien flagship far beyond the system, the fleet leader receives confirmation from his scouts that the human ship is now fully powered. The news spreads through his command rooms, officers whispering about the size and purpose of such a vessel. Some urge an immediate strike, fearing that once the ship leaves the dock, it will be unstoppable. Others argue that attacking before knowing its capabilities could be disastrous. The leader listens to all and then orders the fleet to hold position still. Unseen. Inside the great ship, every deck is alive with movement. Crew members take their assigned stations. Pilots secure themselves and their fighters ready for rapid deployment. Weapons officers run final checks on the massive cannons lined along the sides, each weapon able to fire bursts of energy that can tear through the strongest shields. The reactor hums louder, feeding the systems with steady, unstoppable power. In the hangars, technicians secure the last supply crates and close the heavy blast doors, sealing the ship for the journey ahead. The captain walks slowly across the bridge, stopping at each station, his eyes meeting those of the officers who will help guide the vessel through its first voyage. His voice is calm as he gives the order to disengage from the dock. Magnetic clamps release with a deep metallic groan, and the ship begins to drift away. Thrusters fire in short controlled bursts, rotating the vessel until it faces outward toward the black void beyond Neptune. The dock falls away behind them, shrinking against the distant light of the sun. A coded transmission is sent to every human outpost in the galaxy. Simple words, but heavy with meaning. The first Stardestroyer has launched. Maintain readiness. The message travels at light speed, reaching distant colonies where soldiers stand a little straighter and civilians wonder quietly about the ship they have only heard about in rumor. In the alien fleet, the leader watches his displays. As the human ship moves away from its dock, its sensors detect no unusual signals from the vessel. Yet its presence is like a silent challenge, drifting into the darkness with purpose. He sends a small wing of stealth ships to follow at a distance, ordered not to engage, but to watch and learn. These ships vanish into the void like shadows against shadows. The captain gives the order for the first jump. The navigation officer locks coordinates for a point beyond the edge of the system, where they will calibrate the new drive. The countdown begins. The crew feels the shift in the air as the engines spool up. The hum, rising into a deep, steady vibration. The stars outside seem to stretch and bend. Then, in a sudden flash, the Sol system vanishes, replaced by a vast ocean of unfamiliar stars. At the new location, the ship halts. Sensors sweep the surrounding space for any sign of pursuit. Readings show faint distortions far behind them, possible cloaked ships. The captain orders a launch of fast intercept drones to investigate. The drones accelerate instantly, their small frames cutting through the dark with silent speed. Moments later, they transmit images blurred, but clear enough to confirm alien craft tailing them. The captain studies the footage and orders the drones to shadow the watchers without revealing themselves. The hunters are now the hunted. The alien stealth ships report back to their fleet, but their leader senses something is wrong. The human vessel has vanished from their direct scans, and the faint flickers they detect now seem to move with intent. He knows they are being tracked, but orders his crews to hold position, unwilling to give away his larger fleet too soon. Within the Star Destroyer, engineers prepare to test the primary weapon, a vast cannon built into the forward section, capable of focusing the ship's entire reactor output into a single devastating strike. The captain chooses an uninhabited asteroid as the target. Navigation locks coordinates, and the weapon crew begins charging. The cannon light builds within the barrel, a shimmering glow that grows brighter and brighter until it bursts forward in a blinding lance of energy. The asteroid vanishes, leaving only drifting fragments. Sensors confirm the shot's precision to within a fraction of a meter. The crew stares at the display in silence, understanding the power they now command. The captain orders all systems to stand by and the crew to rest. Rotations are established so that every officer remains sharp for what is to come. In the mess halls, quiet conversations ripple through the ranks. Some wonder if they will see battle on this first voyage. Others believe the ship's presence alone will keep enemies at bay. None can say for sure. Back on Earth, the councils receive word of the successful jump, and weapon test. Their relief is tempered by the knowledge that this display of power will not go unnoticed. They begin drafting messages to neutral species, hoping to frame the launch as a defensive measure, but deep down they know fear will spread faster than diplomacy. In the alien flagship, the leader studies the report from his scouts. The weapon test is undeniable, even at extreme range. Sensors picked up the energy spike. He closes his eyes for a moment, then give a new order: prepare the fleet for movement. If the humans intend to bring that ship into contested space, he will meet them. They're not to negotiate, but to prove that the galaxy still belongs to those who hold the most firepower. The human ship now drifts in deep space, systems running at optimal efficiency. The captain stands before the great map at the center of the bridge, his gaze fixed on a point far beyond their current position, a place where tensions between several species have reached breaking point. He knows the first true test of the Stardestroyer will not be in training drills or silent jumps, but in the heart of conflict, where its presence will change the course of entire civilizations. And as the stars shift slowly outside the hull, the crew waits, ready for the moment when their ship will step out of the shadows and into the blazing light of history. The Stardestroyer moves through deep space, its massive frame cutting across the void like a black blade gliding between stars. The crew maintains silent readiness, every station glowing with faint lights, as officers track the signals of alien fleets that now move within striking distance. The captain stands at the center of the bridge, his eyes fixed on the main display, where a swirling mass of red icons marks the contested zone ahead. This is where 3 alien factions have gathered, each claiming the same resource-rich sector, and each willing to spill blood to take it. In the alien council chambers across the galaxy, messages are flying faster than light, every leader aware that the human Stardestroyer is inbound. Some see it as a threat, others as an opportunity. If they can convince the humans to side with them, the balance of power will shift in their favor. Spies and envoys rush toward the sector, desperate to arrive before the first shot is fired. Yet the reality is that the human vessel is already too close, too fast for politics to keep pace. The captain orders a slow approach, not to appear aggressive, but not slow enough to allow enemy fleets to strengthen their lines. He wants to arrive with momentum enough to show that the ship cannot be ignored. Fighters are prepped inside the hangar, rows of sleek crafts with human pilots strapping in their helmets, their hands steady on the controls. Outside, the armored plating of the ship glimmers faintly under the light of a distant sun. As they cross the final stretch, sensors light up with hundreds of contacts, massive alien warships locked in a tense standoff between 2 asteroid belts, each faction holding back its guns, but keeping them charged. The humans enter the sector at the edge of the formation, both sides immediately sending frantic signals to identify themselves and state their intentions. The captain responds with a simple transmission: "We are here to ensure peace." But the power in his voice leaves no doubt that the peace will be enforced on human terms. The alien commanders react in different ways. One sends a delegation ship moving quickly toward the human vessel under a flag of parley. Another orders all ships to tighten formation, clearly preparing for a defensive stand. The third remains silent, keeping its fleet in the shadows of the asteroid field, watching and waiting for an opening. The tension in the sector rises with every second the humans hold position. In the war room, deep inside, the Stardestroyer tactical officers plot every possible engagement scenario. Giant holographic projections display the alien ships, along with probability estimates of their likely moves. The captain studies the data, then points to the silent fleet in the asteroid shadows. He knows their positioning suggests an ambush waiting for chaos to break out. He quietly orders 2 interceptor wings to move unseen into flanking positions, ready to strike if that fleet moves. The delegation ship from the first alien faction docks with the Stardestroyer, its crew escorted by human marines through the towering corridors. The alien leader, a tall figure with crystalline skin and eyes that glow faintly in the dim light, steps into the bridge. He greets the captain with measured words, offering an alliance against the other 2 factions. His tone is smooth, but his eyes betray urgency. The captain listens without commitment, making it clear that humanity will act only to prevent Escalation not to choose sides. While talks continue, the Silent Fleet begins to drift closer using the asteroid belt as cover. Their movements subtle, but detected by the Star Destroyer's advanced sensors in the hangars. Human pilots receive the order to stand by for launch in the weapons control rooms. Crews align the forward cannons, just enough to remind the enemy. They're seeing the captain keeps the negotiations going, all the while knowing that the real conversation is being had between targeting computers and maneuver thrusters. Suddenly, a flare of energy bursts from the second alien faction's line, a warning shot aimed near the Silent Fleet to force them out of hiding. The blast shatters several smaller asteroids, sending fragments spinning through space. In the confusion, the Silent Fleet surges forward, weapons coming online. The Star Destroyer reacts instantly, thrusters firing to shift its massive bulk into the gap between the two hostile forces its shields absorb. The first glancing shots from the Silent Fleet turning them into harmless ripples of light across the black hole. The captain's voice cuts through the bridge like steel. Hold your fire until my command. Every officer freezes, waiting for the signal. The alien delegates on the bridge look on in disbelief at the discipline of the human crew. Then the Silent Fleet makes its fatal move, launching a wave of torpedoes toward the second faction's command ship. The captain gives the order, fire. The Star Destroyer's main cannon erupts with a blinding lance of energy that crosses the gap in an instant, striking one of the lead ships in the Silent Fleet and tearing it apart. In a single burst, secondary turrets spin and unleash precision fire, cutting down incoming torpedoes before they reach their targets. Human fighters roar from the hangar, racing to engage the scattered enemy ships, their engines blazing against the cold darkness. The alien factions freeze for a heartbeat, the sheer destructive power of the Star Destroyer laid bare before them. The second faction quickly broadcasts a ceasefire signal. The first follows suit, but the Silent Fleet continues to fight, desperate and cornered. The humans press the advantage, not to destroy, but to force surrender, targeting weapons and engines instead of life. Support. The battle ends within minutes, the surviving ships of the Silent Fleet drifting powerless among the asteroids. The captain addresses all factions over open channel. The fighting ends now. This sector will be monitored. Any attempt to reignite conflict will be met with decisive action. His words carry across every ship, every crew member and commander, hearing the calm certainty behind them. Back on Earth, the councils receive the battle report, relief mixed with the knowledge that the galaxy has now seen the full strength of their creation. Messages from neutral systems begin arriving, some expressing support, others demanding explanations, but all acknowledging one truth: the Star Destroyer has become a factor that no one can ignore. The crew of the great ship moves into recovery operations, towing damaged vessels out of the asteroid field, assisting in rescue efforts. Even for the enemy, the captain knows that mercy shown today will echo farther than fear alone could travel. Yet he also knows that some will take this as a challenge, a reason to test human resolve in the days ahead. As the Star Destroyer holds its silent vigil over the sector, the stars beyond seem to shimmer with possibilities and threats alike. And somewhere far away, other fleets are already adjusting their plans around the presence of a single human ship that now stands as both shield and sword in the uncertain expanse of the galaxy. If you want, I can make Part 6 the turning point, where a hidden alien superweapon forces the Star Destroyer into its most dangerous battle yet. That would push the stakes through the roof. Ask ChatGPT. The sector lies in uneasy peace under the watch of the Star Destroyer. Alien fleets scattered and licking their wounds after the failed ambush patrol craft drift between the asteroid belts, scanning for any hidden ships, while human engineers continue repair work on damaged vessels taken under protection. The captain studies incoming intelligence reports in the war room, his gaze drawn to one encrypted transmission intercepted from deep space. The origin is unknown, but the tone of the message is chilling. It speaks of a weapon older than the current war, something buried in the void waiting to awaken. Far from the contested zone, in a stretch of uncharted dark space, an ancient structure drifts slowly, turning in silence, its surface blackened by millennia of dust and radiation. Inside lies the weapon. The message spoke of a construct left by a long-vanished civilization, its power dormant, but still intact, deep sensors hidden within its core suddenly flicker to life, responding to a signal pulsing through subspace. The weapon stirs and begins to draw in energy from nearby stars. Back on the Star Destroyer, the chief science officer explains the data to the captain in urgent tones. This device, if activated, could destroy entire fleets in a single wave of force. Its energy output is beyond anything in the known galaxy. Worse still, the intercepted message suggests that one of the alien factions is already moving to claim it. The captain wastes no time ordering the ship to alter course and head for the coordinates at maximum speed. The crew braces for a race against enemies who have likely been planning this for years. As the Star Destroyer hurtles through space, its massive engines leaving faint trails of plasma, the crew prepares for a confrontation unlike any before. Fighters are rearmed with experimental munitions. Shield generators are tuned to their highest capacity, every crew member aware that if they fail, the weapon could fall into hands that would use it to dominate the galaxy or burn it to ashes. The captain sends a coded message to allied systems warning them to stay clear of the region until further notice. Near the ancient structure, the alien faction that seeks the weapon has already arrived, their fleet forming a defensive perimeter, while specialized ships move closer to the artifact, using energy beams to begin unlocking its dormant systems. The artifact itself is vast, a dark ringed sphere the size of a small moon, its surface etched with patterns that seem to shift as if alive, glowing faintly as power flows through hidden channels in its hull. The activation sequence has begun and cannot be easily stopped. The Star Destroyer drops from faster-than-light speed on the edge of the sector, its sensors immediately detecting the heat bloom from the activation process. The captain orders the ship forward, but the enemy fleet intercepts, forming a wall of ships armed and ready. A voice comes through comms, cold and certain. They claim the weapon as their rightful prize and demand the humans withdraw. The captain refuses, stating that no single power can control such a device without endangering all life in the galaxy. The enemy opens fire, beams of high energy lashing across the void, striking the shields of the Star Destroyer with blinding flashes. The human vessel returns fire with pinpoint accuracy, striking weapon mounts and sensor arrays to weaken their line. Fighters streak out from the hangar, diving through gaps in the enemy formation to disrupt the activation ships. One by one, the enemy vessels begin to falter, but the activation sequence continues within the artifact, deep mechanisms shifting and unlocking. With every passing moment, the captain knows that winning the battle will mean nothing if the weapon comes online. He orders a daring maneuver. The Star Destroyer will push straight through the enemy line, using its armored hull to absorb the initial barrage, while fighters and escorts provide cover. The massive ship surges forward, thrusters roaring as it tears a gap through the hostile formation. Enemy fire glances off its reinforced plating, sparks cascading across the black hole. The bridge crew keeps their focus as the ship closes the distance to the artifact. Now within visual range, the artifact looms like a black sun against the stars, glowing patterns swirling faster as the activation reaches critical phase. The captain orders boarding teams to prepare. They will enter through one of the surface conduits before the weapon fully awakens. Dropships launch, darting toward the alien structure under covering fire from the Star Destroyer. Enemy fighters try to intercept, but are driven back by relentless bursts from human gunners. The dropships vanish into the gaping conduits, disappearing inside the ancient weapon. Within the artifact, the boarding teams find corridors that seem to twist and shift as they move, walls humming with unseen energy. The air is thin and carries a faint metallic taste. Deeper inside, they locate a central chamber dominated by a towering crystal core, pulses of light racing through its facets at a speed that grows with every second. The science officer on the bridge confirms that once the core reaches full charge, it will release a wave capable of erasing every ship in the sector. The captain gives the order to disable the core by any means. The boarding teams plant shaped charges at key points around the chamber, but alien defenders emerge from the shadows, tall figures in strange armor, their forms partially mechanical, their weapons spitting arcs of searing plasma. These are not the faction soldiers, but guardians of the artifact, perhaps remnants of the civilization that built it. The fight is brutal narrow corridors, lit by flickers of weapons, fire human marines pressing forward under heavy resistance. Back on the bridge, the enemy fleet makes a last desperate push to protect the weapon. Several ships break through the defensive line and close in on the Stardestroyer. The captain orders all forward batteries to concentrate fire. The human vessel unleashes a storm of energy blasts, tearing through the lead attackers in bursts of light, and wreckage debris drifts across the battle zone as more enemy ships fall the way to the artifact, now held firmly by human guns. Inside the core chamber, the last of the Guardians fall. The charges are armed, but the science officer warns that detonating them could trigger an uncontrolled release of the weapon's power. Instead, they must shut down the core manually using control nodes hidden within the chamber. A team of engineers works frantically connecting portable power siphons to drain the core's energy. The glow begins to dim, but slowly, too slowly. The captain, hearing this over comms, makes the call to commit the Star Destroyer's main reactor to the process. Power is diverted through a focused beam into the siphons, creating a feedback loop that disrupts the artifact's energy field. Alarms sound across the Star Destroyer as systems dim under the strain. The glow of the core falters, then collapses in on itself, leaving only darkness and silence. The weapon is neutralized, its systems locked in permanent stasis. The enemy fleet, seeing the weapon lost, begins a chaotic retreat. Human fighters pursue just long enough to ensure they are driven far from the sector before regrouping around the Star Destroyer. The boarding teams return battered but alive, carrying fragments of alien technology that may one day explain the true origin of the weapon. The captain looks out at the now quiet sector, knowing they have only delayed the inevitable, because somewhere out in the vast dark there may be more such weapons. The void lies silent after the battle. Wreckage drifts between distant stars, and the ancient weapon floats dark and cold in its eternal sleep. But the quiet is not peace, it is the pause before something deeper awakens. In the shadows of the galaxy on the Star Destroyer, the crew moves slowly through repair routines, their bodies weary, but their minds troubled by questions. The fragments of alien technology recovered from the artifact have been placed in containment labs under the watch of armed guards, and the science officer spends hours studying the strange symbols etched into their surfaces. The captain is summoned to the lab where the science officer presents a translation pieced together from cross-references with known extinct languages. The message hidden within the patterns is not a warning. It is an invitation. The weapon was never meant to be used in war. It was a key, a beacon calling to something far older than the galaxy itself. The signal that had awakened, it had not come from any known faction. It had come from outside the galactic rim, from the place that the oldest star charts mark as the void beyond. Even as the captain absorbs this, the ship's sensors pick up a faint pulse from the direction of the rim. It is low energy, almost like a heartbeat repeating at long intervals, and each pulse causes the fragments of alien metal in the lab to vibrate, as if answering the call. The science officer warns that if the signal is allowed to grow, it could awaken not just one weapon, but many scattered across the galaxy. The captain knows there is no choice. They must find the source before it is too late. The Star Destroyer sets course for the galactic rim, passing into regions where no charted star lanes exist. The crew feels the unease of traveling through a place where navigation beacons have never been placed, and where old legends speak of ships that vanish without trace. They pass through nebulae glowing with strange light, past dead worlds, orbiting cold suns, and deeper still into a region where the stars grow sparse and darkness stretches without end. The signal grows stronger, now a steady pulse that resonates in the hull of the ship like a distant drumbeat. After days of travel, they reach the edge of known space, and there they find a structure so vast it is almost mistaken for a cluster of stars at first glance. But its lines are too straight, its symmetry too perfect. It is a ring bigger than any world, forged from black metal that reflects no light. Within its center hangs a sphere of liquid darkness that swirls slowly, as if alive. The signal comes from within, and the readings show energy levels that defy all known science. The crew stares in silence as they approach, knowing they stand before something not made for mortal eyes. The captain orders a cautious advance, But as the ship crosses the boundary of the ring, every system flickers, lights dim, and power levels drop, as if the structure itself is draining energy from the vessel. Voices whisper faintly through the comms in known language. The science officer manages to boost power long enough to send a probe into the sphere. The feed shows shifting shapes and colors that twist the mind to look upon, and then the signal spikes, and the probe is gone without trace, replaced by a new transmission, this one in clear human language. The voice speaks with calm authority. It calls itself the Architect and claims to have built the weapons as locks upon the doors of the void. The war between the factions of the galaxy had been foreseen long before humans had risen from their homeworld, but the Architect warns that the true enemy lies beyond the rim, a hunger older than stars that once tried to cross into the galaxy and was sealed away. The signal sent to awaken the weapon was not sent by the factions at war, but by something on the other side trying to break through again. The captain demands to know why humans were drawn into this. The Architect answers that humans carry a spark in their minds, an unpredictability that the enemy cannot understand or corrupt. The ancient builders had seen this potential and left clues for humanity to find when the time was right. But the Architect also warns that if the enemy enters the galaxy, no fleet, no weapon, and no alliance will be enough to stop it. Only the awakening of all the locks across the stars working in unison could hold it back, and to do so, someone must carry the keys to each lock. The captain realizes the keys are the fragments recovered from the artifact, and that they must now travel across the galaxy to every hidden lock before the enemy grows strong enough to force its way through. But time is short. The pulses from beyond the rim are growing faster, each one shaking the ring and distorting space around the sphere. The Architect offers one final gift, a path through the hidden currents of hyperspace that will allow the Stardestroyer to reach the locks in time, but warns that once the journey begins, there will be no return until the task is complete. The crew gathers in the hangar where the captain explains the mission and its stakes. There is fear in their eyes, but also determination. They have faced fleets and weapons beyond imagining and survived. Now they must face something far greater with no promise of survival, but the knowledge that the fate of all life depends on them. The science officer secures the fragments in a containment field linked to the ship's core, so they can be delivered safely to each lock. The helm plots the course given by the Architect, and the engines begin to hum with a strange new resonance. As the Stardestroyer moves away from the ring, the sphere within begins to churn violently, as if aware that its prey is escaping. Shadows writhe across its surface, and the pulses become a constant roar in the ship's sensors. The crew can feel the pressure building behind them, like a tidal wave ready to break across the galaxy. The captain keeps their eyes forward, refusing to look back, knowing that hesitation now could doom them. All ahead lies a journey through every corner of the galaxy, from the crowded core worlds to the frozen edges where light barely reaches. Each lock a relic of a war older than memory, each one holding the line against the darkness. The Stardestroyer vanishes into hyperspace, leaving the rim behind, but the Architect's final words echo in the minds of the crew. The locks are strong, but the enemy is patient, and if even one fails, the tide will come, and there will be no second chance. The captain grips the arm of the command chair, feeling the weight of countless lives resting on their decisions. The galaxy may never know their names or the path they take, but if they succeed, it will live on in light, and if they fail, there will be only the endless night.